everyone, my name is Chidema Clement. Welcome back once again. So the Federal Judge of Nigeria again has barred Sowore from attending Nnamdi Kanu'S trial, which was scheduled on Friday. So the trial scheduled for Friday, being July 18th, has drawn significant public interest, which happens to be tomorrow. Nnamdi Kanu is expected to appear in the Federal High Court to continue his trial. Anyway, the Federal High Court in Abuja has once again barred human rights activist and former presidential candidate known as Sowore from attending the ongoing trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, citing limited courtroom space. So the trial, which was scheduled for Friday, July 18th, has drawn significant public interest. On Wednesday, a list of 20 individuals was submitted to the court, including Sowore, for clearance to attend the proceedings. However, the chambers later informed that only 10 persons would be granted access due to space constraints. So as a result, several names were removed from the list, including Sowore and several defense lawyers. Only senior advocate of Nigeria, known as SANS, and a few others were approved to be present at the hearing. Meanwhile, on June 19th, the Nigerian government officially closed its case against Nnamdi Kanu. So the prosecution led by Adegboyega Awomolo San concluded its presentation after its fifth witness finished testifying. In response, the defense counsel, known as Kanu Agabisan, informed the court of plans to file a no-case submission, arguing that the prosecution had failed to establish a prima facie case against his client, known as Nnamdi Kanu. So Justice James Omotosho, who is the trial judge, granted the defense 14 days to file its written address on the no-case submission within the prosecution, giving an additional 14 days to respond. The matter was then adjourned to July 18th for further proceedings, which happens to be tomorrow. So Kanu, who has been in detention since 2021, is facing charges of treasonable felony and other offences linked to his agitation for the secession of the southeastern region of Nigeria, especially known as Biafra. The Nigerian government accuses him of making statements and taking actions that incited violence and threatened national unity. His continued detention has sparked national and international debate, with right groups and supporters accusing the government of stifling dissent and violating Kanu's human rights. So, pattern of Sowore's exclusion from Kanu's trial. Meanwhile, there have been several instances where Sowore has been barred from attending Nnamdi Kanu's trial. For instance, on December 15, 2023, Sowore lamented that operatives of the Department of the State Services, known as DSS, blocked him from entering the Supreme Court premises to witness a ruling related to Kanu's case. He equally added that the officer shouted no access for Sowore. Upon seeing his vehicle, he later posted about the incident on social media, accusing the government of persecuting Nnamdi Kanu. Earlier on October 21, 2021, Sowore was also denied access to the courtroom by DSS operatives and the Nigerian police force. He equally arrived to witness the trial of Nnamdi Kanu and also to check on his own pending treason case. He criticized the move, stating that the courtroom is a public space and should be accessible to all citizens. Also, on July 26, 2021, Sowore was arrested at the Federal High Court in Abuja during Nnamdi Kanu's trial. Security agents picked up on the court premises amid tight security. Journalists and other observers were also restricted from entering the courtroom unless accredited. So now all eyes are on the Nigerian Federal High Court tomorrow, being 18th of July 2025, regarding the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, known as Nnamdi Kanu's resumption of his trial tomorrow. Remember that the special counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, in the name of Agabi, filed a no-case suit against the Nigerian government. And remember that the court of Kenya has equally ruled that Nigerian government and Kenyan government failed in the laws that guides both Kenya and that of Nigeria when it has to do extradition processes. If you want to extradite any citizen, whether it's your citizen or not, your national, from any country to your own country, you're expected to pass through process, orderly process, court process that will warrant you, or let's say give you the permission to extradite your nationals or your citizens from that particular country to another country. Do you get the point? So these people committed what we call treason felony against Nnamdi Kanu. And in Kenya, Nnamdi Kanu still won the case against the Kenyan government, which I think they paid Mazi Nnamdi Kanu almost 10 million shillings. They say they are going to pay Mazi Nnamdi Kanu 10 million shillings for compensation of, going against, or let's say conniving with Nigerian government to commit treason felony against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Tomorrow is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's court case. Nigerians and especially Biafrans are waiting vividly to know the outcome of this particular case, knowing too well that all the witnesses of Nigerian government has came, they tendered their evidences, and all their evidences, all of them were twisted. They were all nonsense. That is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's special counsel are now filing a no case file. Do you see what is going on? Now, the question now is, if Nigerian government say that for them to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, it must go through, political process, do you think that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can accept it? Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I know, is agitating for the freedom of his people, and he cannot trade anything for the life of his people. He's not like others who gave up, while agitating for Biafra. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa stood ground. They stood gidigam on the ground. They said, come rain, come sun. They say, come life, come death, that they will never quit agitating for Biafra, that they will never sell the interest of their people because of money. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, all his preachings, all his expositions, all of them has come to pass. He was the one that started preaching for this colonization of the country. He started preaching that people are coming from different countries to Nigeria. They want to grab our lands. They will kill and they will occupy. That you should get ready to defend and protect yourself. And guess what is happening today? What Mazi Nnamdi Kanu preached in those days, they are all happening in our own very eyes. People are crying on a daily basis. People are shouting. So many things are going on. So what do you think is going on in this country? Do you think that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can easily accept anything that has to do with political solution, to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Do you think so? I think I love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that he is very brilliant and he knows what is good for him and he knows what is best for the people he's agitating for. Despite some people being against him, despite some Igbo people speaking against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but he will not say because some people are against him that he should just thwart, or let's say thwart this particular agitation. No. Because millions of people of Biafrans are solidly behind him. He cannot say because 1,000 Biafrans are against him, then he will go against the millions of Biafrans that are supporting him. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is agitating for Biafra and for the freedom of his people. Before he gave condition that we make him to quit agitation, but Nigerian government and the then Southeasterners leaders, even Devil Mai, they all failed to meet up with his conditions. Rather, they choose to kill him during Muhammad Buhari's tenure. They even conducted Operation Egweke 1 and 2, which led to the death of almost 3,000 Igbo youth in Umuahia, which happens to be Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's hometown. That was what led Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to flee away from Nigeria, because they wanted to kill him. Buhari wanted to kill him. Devil Mai wanted to kill him. All the Southeastern governors, in fact, all the assistant governors in Nigeria wanted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's dead. But unfortunately for them, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu escaped. Anyway, my lovers, let's not dwell too much regarding this. All I can say is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will come out strong and victoriously. That is all I can say. And our prayer is that at the end of the day, may Mazi Nnamdi Kanu agitation come to pass. May his heart desires be fulfilled. May this agitation be, in fact, may there be victory in this agitation. And that victory we are saying is Biafra standing as an independent country on its own, not under the umbrella of Nigeria anymore, but standing as a country on its own, printing its own money, having its own sovereign state, having its own president, having its own land, guiding their own boundaries, their lands, securing their, their borders, everything, doing things that they wish in their own country, making their own laws and executing their laws in their country, developing their lands the way they want and not being restricted by anyone in the name of one Nigeria. That's all I can say. Anyway, my lover, what you want to talk? I remember I want to say, Chidinma Clement. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to drop your opinion in the comment section.